You know, actually, I like what Doug Peterson just did. I like the fact that the front office of the Philadelphia Eagles came out and set the record straight. Carson Wentz is the future. Carson Wentz is the future. So we can just go ahead and kill all this little quarterback controversy. We can kill all the debates. We can kill all the pointless debacles, all the pointless squabbles within Eagles Nation. We have inter-team squabbles going on about who should be the quarterback. Let's kill it. Let's kill it all. We got two great quarterbacks. Let's rock with who was on the field at the time. Let's not act like Carson Wentz did something terrible. Let's not act like that. You know what I mean? Nick Foles had 3 starts this season. Carson had the rest. Let's not act like Carson Wentz was just horrible at his position. He is the future. He is the future. Now let's get some things straight. I'm gonna give you my opinions on Carson Wentz and Nick Foles if I haven't already done so. I believe at this stage in Nick Foles' life, Nick Foles is the better quarterback. I believe at this stage in both of their lives, Carson Wentz is the better athlete. Now when you're trying to win games down the stretch, hold on. I'm Lord Brunson. I'm back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Now, when it comes to winning games down the stretch, big games, you want to rely more on smarts than you want to do on athleticism. Carson Wentz is relying a lot on athleticism and just God-given talent, which he should, because everybody's not talented like he is at the quarterback position. But does that always translate into wins, especially coming off an injury? No. Think about the quarterbacks who were able to succeed and translate, just football IQ and on-field intelligence into wins. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre later in his career. A lot of quarterbacks, Drew Brees, a lot of quarterbacks who are over 35 and still doing it. Phillip Rivers. You know what I mean? These are the keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Houston Texans. Now let's talk about the Houston Texans secondary. I believe this is a secondary that can be touched. I want to talk about strength of schedule also. I believe that their schedule has been light. I don't really believe that they beat anybody of any substance. I don't think they went against any juggernauts for the most part for in a consistent stretch of the year. Let's compare their schedule to our schedule. Well, we played the Rams. We played. I don't consider the Vikings as being heavy, or I don't consider the Falcons as being heavy. I just don't consider those heavy hitters in my opinion. But we played the Rams. We played the Saints. The Jags, whose defense is always always unpredictable. They could shut you out, or they could get numbers put up on them. We got to play Dallas twice. I don't really consider Dallas heavy hitters, but we had a tough schedule. Some would consider the Minnesota Vikings to be a tough team, and even the Atlanta Falcons for that to be a week 1 matchup. Our schedule was kind of tough. I mean, the Houston Texans, the division is weak in my opinion. Probably not weaker than ours this year, but the teams, the quarterbacks in the division, kind of shaky. Listen, a football team is a football team. We still got to do what we got to do to beat these guys. So I'm not trying to discredit the Houston Texans for anything they've done all season, but I'm just trying to tell you that, like always, every week, I don't fear any of these guys, which is why I made the predictions I made in the beginning of the season. And you got some people who view my videos who say my predictions are kind of wild and outrageous. How? In the comment section, drop your predictions for the season for the Eagles before the season started. Drop what you thought what our record would be at the end of the season. I see a lot of 11-5s. I see a lot of 12-4s. But the fact of the matter is we're 7-7. The fact of the matter is we're 7-7. Predictions are all fine and dandy when somebody's saying we're going to win a Super Bowl. I don't even call it predictions. I don't even call what I did with predictions. I was a part of a very small group of people who believed in our team after we lost Carson Wentz last year. I was a part of a small percentage who believed in us, that we were still going to win the Super Bowl. So failed predictions mean nothing. When a prediction fails, in my eyes, I have to diagnose the team because I know we have the tools to get it done. I'm not sitting here making no predictions with a New York Football Giants team, a team who just, you know what I mean? Something like a bad team, like a Jets. We're not in the position of those teams. We have veterans. We have great young talent. The injury bug bit us. A lot of close games. We only lost 1 game all season by more than 7 points. We only lost 1 game the entire season by more than 7 points. Come on. That's mental and that's injuries. Protecting Nick Foles is key in this upcoming game against these Houston Texans. It has to be done. Nick Foles took a lot of hits while he was still completing passes. You can't bank on stuff like that. You need to get Nick Foles a clean pocket this game, because he ain't going to survive a hit exposing himself while extending to throw the ball with J.J. Watt bearing down on him, who just made it back to the Pro Bowl. Congratulations. Those hits like that, when you're extending trying to throw the ball, can cause a duck to go in the air and can cause a turnover. Protect Nick Foles. Also, stick to the mantra. When we run the ball 25 or more times, what's the result? We're 7-0. When we run the ball under 25 times, we're 0-7. Get the run into the game plan. Get the run into the game plan. Protect the ball. I want to see Josh Adams. I want to see it being mixed up. Let's do things the right way, because this game is critical, because we are looking up at a few teams. We are waiting for the Vikings to drop some. We are waiting for a lot of these guys to drop something, because unfortunately, if the Vikings win out, and if the Seahawks win out, and if Dallas wins out, we're out. Even if we win out. You know what I mean? Because all those teams have a tiebreaker against us. So we need somebody to lose. It is no longer in our control. And this is the hole we dug. This is what happens when you're a mediocre football team. Let's be clear about this. But can we beat the Texans? Absolutely. Can we finish the season off strong even if we don't make it to the postseason? Absolutely. Let's not be one of those rare few teams who won the Super Bowl who finishes with a losing record the next season. Let's not be one of those guys. Let's still put our foot on the neck of the competition. Somebody going to drop it. I think the Vikings going to drop it. The Vikings ain't going to beat the Lions, and they're not going to beat the Bears. They're not going to beat both of those teams. I just don't see it. I don't see it. If the Cowboys lose to Tampa today, I mean, if they lose to Tampa tomorrow, we got a bit of a situation on our hands now. If the Seahawks don't win any more games, it's a situation on our hands now. The time is still there. We still need a few things to happen. There's a very low percentage. There's a very low chance of us getting in, because we need a lot of other people to fail and drop the ball. But we still got to try. We still got to see what happens. Let's talk a little bit about Pro Bowls and Pro Bowl snubs. Me and Uncle Leroy might be touching more on this topic later, because I believe one of his guys, Leonard of the Colts, was the biggest snub of the whole Pro Bowl, AFC and NFC. I don't believe any Eagles players were snubbed. We were a mediocre football team. You know, I don't like to talk on anybody who made it, who shouldn't have made it. That's not my thing. If you made it, congratulations to you. But Leonard was snubbed. Leonard should have been in there, point blank, period. I knew something was fishy going to happen to him after the way he shut down Ezekiel Elliott, and after the way he was just a heat-seeking missile against that Cowboys offense. They drug tested him the next day. One of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. A random drug test. Of course. But look. 28-13, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to take care of business against the Houston Texans. I have no doubt about this game. I have no doubt in my mind about this game. The last home game of the season, they got to put on for the fans. We've been putrid at home. We've been terrible at home this season. They got to put on. I think it's a different battery in the back of the team when Nick Foles is at the helm. Something changes. Some spark happens. Things look different when Nick Foles is at the helm. I think Doug Peterson also has I think that it's easier for Doug Peterson to coach Nick Foles, because he wants to protect and coddle Nick Foles. Whereas though he's in awe of Carson Wentz's talent, and he just throws him out there and expects magic to happen. You got to coach both of these guys. Lord Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles.